All right, Beck, we're done. So let's start. First of all, thank you for having us here and your having your time for us. And we know you're obviously women, and the for us is so important because you are a historic player for Valencia, and it's a pity that you can't play more there. So how you feeling? How's your day today? How's your life now?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very difficult moment. The last few months have been not what I expected, not what I was hoping for, and making that decision to not come back to Valencia this season, it was difficult, but the right one because I'm not ready. And with the moment of the season, it wouldn't be right for the team and it wouldn't be right for me. So as hard as it was to make that decision, it's I'm just trying to get back to being healthy, and I think that's the main priority.
When you mean you're not ready, you mean mentally, physically, or how's your recovery going?
Definitely physically. It's I've really just started doing some things on the court and building up cardio, weights, all of that. But I'm still, I had final scans really last week. And it's just to check on my breathing and all of that because I'm not 100% there. So it's not like a normal injury like what I've had in the past where it's, a knee, a shoulder, or whatnot. It's hard when it's an organ. I'm talking about the lungs. So it's just been a bit difficult with that.
We know this is not a common injury, and it's not like
Yeah.
an sprained ankle. So,
Yeah.
how's your daily life with um, how's your daily life with that injury? But most of all, in the beginning of the injury, because I
Um,
believe it's hard just to live with that.
yeah. At the beginning of the injury, I was just in pain, there was just quite a lot of pain. But because I'm so fit and healthy, the breathing, I wasn't the same that a normal person or an average person would be. So I just had more so like a cough or a little bit of a wheezy breath. So it wasn't like I was able to walk around. There was maybe a month where I was just walking around the streets as my
Yeah.
exercise, just to try and do something. But I wasn't able to do too much, and then we saw that it wasn't improving, and so that's why I ended up having the surgery.
Well, Victor Claver almost had a very similar injury in the ribs.
Okay.
Yeah, so they said it wasn't very for a long time. Uh, they almost I don't want any controversy, but they said it was like a small time for you to come back because when you were playing in the world tournament, uh, you only last like 2 3 minutes in the quarterfinals against Belgium. Uh, was the injury before the game, in the game?
I mean, no, that was because I had just had the injury happen right before. I was just in too much pain. We tried to do a practice before that Belgium game,
Yeah.
and I think doing that workout before, it just made it really hard to try and be okay. I mean, I was never okay really with any of the games, but after the injury, I mean, obviously nothing else happened. It was the same injury that I had from the first. It was just I don't think that people know like the level of pain that it was to try and play through. So, but also it's different having had more scans post when I finally got back to Melbourne and the pain wasn't getting better. So it was with what we knew it to what we thought it was in that moment.
And I wanted to ask you about your experience in with Australia this summer. You almost made it, so
Yeah.
you played excellent from the beginning of the tournament. How was for you personally the experience of a World Cup?
Yeah, I was doing an interview the other day, and I know that the injury makes it difficult for me, like emotionally, but at the same time, it's been one of the best campaigns that I was ever a part of, because I just enjoyed the team. I enjoyed how we played. I enjoyed how together we were. And so for that, I'm still very, very proud of us and what we achieved. And I think that we are getting better as a group as well. So for me, it was a really great World Championships. I just wish that the injury didn't happen because I did start off so well. And so, I mean, you always want to be putting your best foot forward. And that's again why I tried so hard to play again after. But I mean, injuries are a part of sport. But yeah, for us to get a medal was really very good.
Since you got the injury, have you come? Have you been able to come back to Spain or something, or you've been treated in Australia all this time?
I haven't been allowed to fly. It was
Yeah, we
too
know
dangerous
because
to fly for so, yeah, for so long. So I only got clearance of flying last week. So it's been a long time with not even being able to
yeah,
leave Melbourne, in that sense, not being able to be on a plane.
yeah. I mean that's kind of difficult. Yes, for an international
Yeah.
player.
If I went on a boat, it would
Yeah,
take me maybe a
if you
year. So
if you made life only in Australia, but you're in United States, in Valencia, in Australia, in every point of the
very
world, so
hard.
it's kind of difficult. I understand.
Yeah.
Um, Going back to your treatment, uh, is one of the is being obligated to stay in Australia one of the reasons because of your not uh, continue with Valencia?
No, not at all. If I felt that I would be able to play comfortably, or if I was able to right now be practicing and be able to get hit and have that contact, I'd feel a lot more comfortable being able to go over and play and practice. But I mean, it's also with bodies. I'm 30, I'm not 20. It takes a while to even just come back from having 3 months of ultimately really not doing much because I wasn't able to because it wasn't a good thing for me to do that. It put too much pressure on the lungs. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's why it's just been a very complicated injury.
Well, since Valencia's playing EuroLeague is um, one of the most complicated in the competitive ways for the team.
Yeah,
So I mean the level is on the top of the history of the club. So
absolutely.
yeah, so how's your vision of the team right now with all the new players this year that came here and the play they're developing with all the injuries they had in the beginning of the season and how they've been able to make the quarterbacks of the quarterfinals of the EuroLeague.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big reason why I'm sad as well that I'm not there is because it was part of I feel like I was part of the process of the last 2 years of building up to make EuroLeague. And EuroLeague for me is a big goal to play in that again because for me it's the best competition in the world. And so that's why I'm a bit sad to not be there as well as being around the girls and at the club. But I've been watching and following it very closely, and it's been awesome seeing how well you can just see how the chemistry has really built up, and how from 2 years earlier you can just see that there's been this really great progression in the way that the girls are playing together, and you just see how they just know each other and know when someone's going to cut, how to find them in their best position. So I think for Ruben as the coach, he should be so proud of what he has created as well, and the fact that he's been able to keep such a good chemistry amongst the girls really by not making that many changes to the team. I think
Yeah.
that really there's not that many additions, and then you've just seen someone, for example, like Cutout. She's just having an unreal season, and I'm so happy for her because I know how hard she's worked. And I think that's the big thing as well for so many people is they just see the games, but you don't see the work that happens behind the scenes. So I think in general, watching the girls, it's been awesome. It's just been that bittersweet feeling because I really wish that I could have been there with them.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. In that way, the ability Ruben, as the players have and the technical staff have to welcome the players in your day coming here for the first time. Uh, how's the feeling of coming to Valencia for the first time? Speaking about the club.
Yeah, I mean, I say this to everyone, it's my favorite club I've ever played for. I enjoyed playing for Ruben as well because I think he's a really good person as well as a really good coach. And I think that when you're playing for a good person, you're willing to do more or put your body more on the line, you know? And so for that, I've enjoyed playing for him, and I think he got to know me a little bit too and knows when to pull me out of the game because I'm getting too hot, or and then pull me back in when I'm ready. So I think we had a really nice relationship, but then just the club in general, the way that they welcomed me, the way that the fans welcomed me, even just the messages that I've received right now from my injury as well. It's touching. It's touching for me because it means that you feel a part of something. I think that's always a really nice thing. So, I mean, Valencia became a home for me. It really did. It's something that when my parents came to visit, I was so excited to show them such a great city.
Yeah, things. Personally, I think things are very well balanced in the club or in
Definitely.
the women's team. So, speaking about Valencia, what's the thing you miss the most from the team or your club and the city?
Well, the team and the club for me, it's the people. I miss the people. I miss the days of just being around everyone and getting to know them closer. I think also the facilities. They're the best facilities I've played in overseas too, and I think that you don't take that for granted. I think that's a really good thing. And about Valencia, oh, it has to be. I've got the food right now. It's food. It's all food
Yeah.
based. I miss the alcachofas. Oh my
Cachofas.
gosh, con jamon, and the tostada con tomate. So I
Yeah.
make that here at home now for breakfast, like every morning, and my mum's obsessed with it as well. Um, so it's definitely like a lot about like the food, the beaches, that lifestyle of. I think everyone's got this really nice, laid back but happy personality.
Yeah, that was my guess for your answer because we follow you in social media, and there's almost every day something about food, about Valencia, about how you're enjoying the city. So my question was about that. So
I did love
yeah,
it.
I know. So thank you about that. About your, I wanted to talk about your last like your bye bye to Valencia. It was like a official post about about your buyout. So is gonna be any type. I know you're not able to, you can't travel. So it's has been talk the possibility of making something a venue or event about your exit of the club, or it's just like a, hasta luego for the club.
I hope it's an hasta luego. I hope it's a see you soon. I really do. I hope for that. For me, it's a purely decision that is for this moment. That is what is right for this moment.
Yeah.
In terms of not playing. And what I tried to write. I mean, you can never write everything of how you feel in a post as well when it's up on social media. I mean, it only shows half the story or not even half. Just for me, I just wanted I wanted the club to know. I mean, I spoke to them on the phone too, but that I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for their patience. I'm grateful that they showed so much support. They were messaging me every week to see how I was going, and I was sharing my updates and all of that. But it became so hard because when I thought it was going to be 2 weeks, it became a month, and then another month, and then it just kept getting pushed out, and that's not fair. But it's also out of my control, you know. So my goodbye, I hope it came from the heart. That's the only place that you can, speak from, in my opinion, and so that's what I really tried to convey.
So I hope it's I see you soon because you've put historical numbers in Valencia. And I want to talk a little bit about your experience in the WNBA with the New York Liberty. How was your experience there? And how's the difference between? I know a lot of EuroLeague players play then in summer there. So how's the feeling? How's the what's the difference about playing in Europe and then playing in the United States? And is it hard to play almost 12 months a year?
Yeah, I mean, New York has been really good for me in general. I think for having done 7 years in that one club, and I mean, there's been four different coaches in my time there. There's been a change of ownership. There's been a lot, so you're constantly adjusting. And I think that with there being so many games per week as well, it's very hard on your body. It's very hard mentally as well. But to go to your point of back to back to back to back, and so having done that for 7 years, it is hard. It's really hard. It's hard on your body, but it's also something I chose because I felt that it made me a better player. I felt that it helped me get to another level, and I've also really enjoyed the experiences too because I found that it. I like the game style difference. So for me, I love the European game. That's my favorite style of basketball because I think that there's this real sense of teamwork. There's this sense of movement. Especially I think with the Spanish style, I think their ability to move without the ball and their vision, that it's been taught from such a young age, that skill of timing and cutting and passing. So I think that I've really tried to take so many things from playing in the Spanish league in particular with me when I've gone back to the States. So if I had a favorite style, definitely European. But the difference between the leagues, I feel, besides just the style, I think maybe with the American style, it's a lot more one-on-one based, and there is like that increased, athleticism in a sense, and size and that physicality. There's that sort of difference. But I mean, I know I'm not the strongest physically player, but I've been able to find my way amongst it. So I mean, I think there's that balance between the two that I've really enjoyed.
All right. Mm, Many NBA players have pronounced about most of all European players. They said that it's harder to score in Europe than in America. Is it true?
Yeah, because they play defense.
Yeah.
Are we
Well,
talking? We're talking NBA though. We're talking
yeah.
NBA. That's the
We talk,
difference. So
yeah, I was talking about
good.
women's basketball because I know spacing is kind of different. So because
Yeah, that's so true.
in each continent the spacing is different, the courts are bigger or smaller and things like that.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
I think also that in Europe is just for a in a material of spacing is it's more difficult. um
Yeah.
we've known that your era in New York has ended. Now I know you've haven't been able to control your faith since the injury. So
My
yeah,
destiny.
your destiny because everything's happened and you don't. Everything's happening and you don't know why. You can expect nothing. So how's Connecticut? Do you think you will be able to make it for the summer, or you will? I know you can. You don't know nothing. So, but what's your expectations? What are your hopes for the summer,
Yeah.
at least, or the international team?
Yeah, I a lot has changed within the last month, 2 months, 3 months, if you want to include the injury. So I've just found that the ground for me just keeps on changing, and I'll be honest, it's been very hard. It's been hard to constantly keep processing, be okay with something, and then it changes again. Um, but other than that, I think that I've landed on my feet. So I think it's just now by there's an element of focus on yourself, get healthy, get right, um, because I think if I'm looking at my calendar, there's the Paris Olympics, which is something that I'm very interested in going to. That's something that I would really want to be at, I think, and And so it's like setting up the best way for me to achieve that, to get there and to be playing well. So right now I'm really trying to build up my workouts, and I've got 2 months right now, until more than 2 months, to get to the training camp, I think, for Connecticut. And it is a change. That's the thing, is it's a new city, it's a new team, it's a new everything. So it's about being open-minded to that. But right now it's just, it is health first. It is making sure that I'm ready for that, is making sure that I'm good to go. Is when I say that I'm ready to play, I want to be 100%.
All right. One of my last questions would be about Valencia, because
Of course.
that's the thing
Why
we're
not?
interested in. Uh, I've I understand with your words that the relationship with the club is in a great shape. Everything's okay since the beginning from now. And what how did you came up, both of you, with the decision of not continuing? I mean, in a explicit way. So did you
Yeah.
say I can continue? They said, how's your feeling?
Yeah. I mean, it was mutual. It was a conversation between Esteban and I, and it was an open, honest conversation. And it's about where I'm at now. It's about the point of the season for them too. So they're about to get into the hardest part of the season, being the finals, and you're wanting, ultimately, your best team there. And I'm honestly, if I want to join that, I want to be ready,
Yeah,
even half ready, and that's ultimately, that's the issue. So that's why it was very mutual. I think there was an understanding from his side and an understanding from my side. So that's what made it, I think, that he and the club made it easier for me to say, because
yeah,
it's emotional to say I can't do it. I'm not ready. It's hard. It's hard to do that with any job, I think, or with anything that you're passionate about. So yeah, it was definitely mutual, and it was a good conversation.
and in Steban's part, you think it was in with the expectations of having a new spot in the roster, just to make it functional, or
Maybe. I mean, I can't speak on behalf of Esteban, but I mean, I understand them wanting to have another player, especially with injuries and stuff in the team, and that's smart for them. So I would never criticize that at all. I think that that's being smart. So whatever the intention, I just know that he always came to me from a place of support and love, and I think that that's a really nice thing.
yeah, from his point of view, basketball is like a chess game, so he has to use his pieces. So I understand. Um, I think, if I'm not wrong, that your contract was expiring this year.
Yeah.
Will would you came back here if the conditions were
I
the
kind
same?
of right now I'm very open to it, and I know that the conversations will come in time. So that's why, again, they're not putting pressure of, here's a contract right now, which is good. So I know that we'll have those conversations in time, and I'm super open to having them.
All right. Well, Rebecca, we're done. We almost have an hour, so thank you so much for
Cool.
your time.
Of course.
And I'm very grateful to interview you, because I, you were the player I wanted the most to interview since I've been working as
Oh,
a
super
journalist.
lovely.
So thank you so much for your time.
Well, maybe next time we'll do it in Spanish.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that's an
I hope
option.
so.
I
I hope
mean,
so, and in person. So I just wanted
yes, oh yeah, that's beautiful.
to thank you so much. You've been so nice and open. So thank you so much for your time, and see you in Valencia very soon. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Goodbye,
Take
Rebecca.
care. Bye.
Ciao.